Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the None of Your Business podcast. Now, normally I'm here with Lacey, but today I have for you a very special treat. And you're still going to get to hear from Lacey as we are going to share with you an interview that Lacey and I recently did with Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street. This is a fascinating interview that was actually a part of the Black Diamond Club sales workshop, where Jordan came in and offered his insights into selling for service providers and also some insights into ways that selling may be changing in the face of the coronavirus pandemic and things changing as far as selling across video and different forms of medium or different mediums that are going to be utilized for selling, maybe substituting for that old-fashioned across from each other, across from the table, face-to-face selling. Check out this interview. I'm sure you're going to find massive value in this. We had a great time sharing with Jordan Belfort. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. What's up, Jordan?
That's funny. I can't even use Google Hangouts.
I was a little bit reluctant, but I got used to it pretty easy. So, but listen, everything is great. I'm enjoying my incarceration. I was in the house arrest like 30 years ago or something, and this is like history repeating itself.
It's taking you back, huh? But you're an expert at it, so you probably got this thing down and can give us some tips.
What do you do on house arrest?
Right now, which is a lot more pleasurable,
Yeah.
Hey, I wanted to start off with, something completely out of left field, in a sense, but I saw this morning on Instagram, and we actually just had a conversation with Dennis Yu, and he was teaching our guys about making these videos, and specifically mentioned Cameo. And I saw that you're doing cameos and not just like these short 15-second things, like you're putting yourself out there more in an effort to help people. And I know, I get it. Like you probably don't want to do 9 million of them.
We have like 450 people watching you right now.
So you're about to get blown up. But tell us a little bit about what you're doing with Cameo.
Well, so Cameo, I've been on Cameo for about 6 months, and I charge, I think, like $1,000 for a short 15-second clip where, hey, it's Jordan Belfort, congratulations, good job, like a sort of, a quick greeting thing or a birthday gift. It's for, I guess, for super fans that like this stuff. And it's great, it's fun, it's, extra money and makes people really happy. But I was thinking the other day, I'm like, at this point, what people really need is not a greeting. I think people need, to have questions answered and also words of encouragement. So I decided that not only was I going to take that 15 seconds and extend it out, because frankly, I don't like talking for only 15 seconds. It's not a problem for me to talk for 2. So I said, rather than it being 15 seconds, let me extend it out and answer a question, or just simply, if you're feeling that, let me motivate you, tell me a bit about yourself, and I'll give you some kind of advice or words of wisdom, and I'll also cut the price for that in half right now, because Cameo has never been something I take. It's not a profit center. It's not enough. It doesn't really matter. So I just did it more to. I had to put some value on it, but I think it's really important right now. It's so easy to buy into this idea that because of coronavirus, I guess I'm not going to end up getting the life I wanted, or I'm screwed now, or there's some way this is going to fundamentally change you or the expectations that you have of yourself. And I really want people to understand that is just, A, it's not true, and B, it's the most insidious thing that can happen to you. Is a slow creep where you start to ratchet down your own self-belief, essentially. So that's why I did it. I think the Cameo is a pretty cool platform, and And I think that people can get massive value out of just having that voice in their another voice besides their own negative self-talk at this point. It's pretty easy to get wrapped up in that.
I love that. That's so powerful. I mean, and so we're on here right now talking about sales with all of our service providers out there. So you got 450 service providers. A lot of them, you know, in that industry have been hit pretty hard across the United States. So those are great words of encouragement. And mostly what we've been talking about this morning with them is actually your sales mindset and your ability to maintain that up here to actually get people to buy your product or service.
Well, I think especially like, you know, you're doing a lot of chiropractors, right? Is a big thing for you, right? And there's no doubt, listen, there's no doubt that right now your business is pretty much shut down, right? I mean, if you're a chiropractor, I don't think you're really doing much. That being said, there's always ways to make money online. And also there's ways to give value right now to the people who normally come see you, and then use that just for the sake of just being a good person and giving value, but also to strengthen long-term relationships with people. And just, you know, remember this is finite. It's going to have a beginning and an end, bottom line. And when this end is over, all of your customers are going to be dying to come back. And there's also going to be a lot of people that are chiropractors that allow this to poison their own mindset, and they're not going to be ready for the comeback. So the idea right now is I would be spending my time right now, if I was a chiropractor, is focusing on all the skill sets, all the learnings that I need to really to internalize. Now, while I have a bit of extra, there's no doubt you can't be holding your patients, physically touching them right now. That's a reality. That doesn't mean that you can't take this time to make yourself a more effective human being in terms of just in your own craft, practicing your craft, reading up on things, that the latest things, any additions you want to make to your practice, and also all the other commensurate skill sets like sales, persuasion, marketing, organizational skills that you need to really build your business. So, you know, no matter what business you're in, if you're a chiropractor, so you're delivering a service of what? Help enhancing people's health and well-being through principles of chiropractic, right? Well, if you're in any business, you're just doing the same thing in that you're delivering a service that removes some sort of pain point for someone, right? Well, there's always going to be the core skill sets that are directly related to the service you provide. In your case, so how do you be a chiropractor? That's going to be your most important thing. You have to know how to do your craft, perform your craft. But then there's also the other support functions of being able to sell, to market it, and to run the business in a way that allows you to make money. So you're organized, that you're scalable. These are all the things I'd be working on right now if I were a chiropractor, for sure.
To jump to let's say that we have that knowledge, not the knowledge of how to do it, but that we should be doing it. A lot of people, one of the things that we're seeing a lot of out there is like saying, Jordan, you're right. You're absolutely right. But, and then coronavirus, et cetera, et cetera. And we've been talking about even, you know, let's say that the curtain is lifted and we're going back to work. How do we get into the right mindset? And even back, you know, when you were doing your trainings with your business, how do you put a salesperson in the right mindset to be able to effectively communicate to somebody on the other side of the phone or on the other side of the table?
So I think the biggest thing about mindset is that I was as you guys probably everyone knows here, I'm a former drug addict, right? So I went through the program AA. I went through Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm sober for God knows how many years. I mean, I drink a little alcohol here and there, but I haven't done a drug in 24 years. It's been a long time, right? But one of the things that my sponsor used to say in AA goes, you know, inside your own head is a dangerous place to go unescorted, to be lost in your own head. Very dangerous to go inside your own head unescorted, all right? And I think what happens to a lot of people, especially in times like these, you're sitting home and you have all this time to think and you're like in your own head, unescorted, and you spin all these tales and scenarios and potential outcomes. And typically in times like this, tend to move towards the worst outcomes, the worst possibilities. And you can get to this point where you almost paralyze yourself with negative self-talk, with the fears of the future and uncertainty. No doubt. But it's corona. Yeah, you're right. Yes, this is a trying time. There's no doubt about this. But let me just give you the flip side of this equation. And if one thing history proves is that in times like this of upheaval and uncertainty, this is when great fortunes are made and small fortunes, meaning you can collapse time. Once this starts to rebound, if you're set yourself up correctly, you'll be able to springboard to success so much quicker than in normal times. It's almost like, remember this, the world operates in a kind of, in a way, in a physical way, with physical laws of the universe. If you stretch something, that represents stored energy. So, when you artificially push something so much, this is an artificial push. Imagine like the economy is a spring. And right now, the government, on the advice of physicians, epidemiologists, has essentially stopped. They pushed the spring and they're pushing it to this negative, to a stop position. All that inertia and forward motion has essentially been stopped, and the spring keeps getting pushed, compressed to the negative. Well, that's really bad, and what we're all feeling right now is the pain of this compression and trying to stop an object in motion because that object had inertia. Energy's now been stopped, but guess what? That represents now stored energy. So what happens to a spring or to a rubber band when it's been stretched to the point where it can't stretch anymore or been pushed to the point, when you finally let go of that, it bounces back wildly. The spring, boom, and the energy gets unleashed. It's in that time frame right then, that's where you are going to have the ability to compress time, make more money more quickly, grow more quickly, reposition your business, get more clients, just accomplish things that normally would take months and do them in weeks, things that would take years, do them in months. To do that, though, you need to have the sort of mindset that positions you to take advantage of opportunity, that teaches you how to, number one, sell yourself. How do you talk to yourself? How do you actually go into that crazy place up there unescorted and actually learn how to flip that voice so it's not a voice of fear, it's not a voice of uncertainty, but it's a voice of confidence, it's a voice of courage, it's a voice that pushes you forward and works in your favor and not against you. These are the things that I teach in the inner game of success, the inner world of success. I then use that in conjunction with skills of the outer world. So it's always like, those mindset skill sets are crucial because they allow you to then go out into the world and deploy these real world skill sets like persuasion, negotiation, and the healing skills you have as a chiropractor. Those skills cannot be used without first starting up here in the inner game.
100%. I've been following you and some of your opinions on, what's going on, the reporting, should we be locked in our homes, all of that. But one thing that I've been saying is that this is a period of time for a lot of introspection for a lot of people. They're all locked in their homes and they have an opportunity to reevaluate their worldviews, an opportunity to think, what I thought was true, is it really true? I mean, the reporting on the statistics and all of that. As this comes out, what will be different, if anything, in your opinion, when it comes to selling? Will we modify the way that we're selling? Will we do a different approach as people are coming out and maybe open to different ideas, or maybe rejecting previous notions? Maybe they no longer believe that it was only a certain amount of deaths in China, and that begins to crack their thought process of what actually is true. And will that actually maybe even disrupt some of their previous loyalties and alliances? And would that be an opportunity for salespeople to come in and potentially show people a different way of thinking?
I think that, obviously, I agree with you in that a lot of what's being said right now out there in the press in terms of, let's start with so many different things going on. With numbers being not correct, numbers being intentionally skewed to the negative, and then sometimes being intentionally skewed to to the positive, they're not reporting cases. I think there's so many different moving parts there. My point with all of that stuff is that I'm deeply concerned right now about that like what I said, stopping in the economy. I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying I have all the answers right now, but I think a lot of the people on this call are probably scratching their head saying, I don't know. Like, it doesn't seem like it's the flu 2018 where people, did you just cough? Oh, I hope you're corona.
I coughed on my soda while we were off screen.
My kids, and one of them, like, you okay? It's like he ran away to put a mask on, right? I was going to come back with a mask, right? No, but I think that there's a lot of different aspects to this. One certainly is that, we don't trust everything that we hear, and we know that so much of this is politicized from both sides of the aisle. There's no right or wrong. It's everybody's politicizing it, using it for gain, right? I think the big changes that we're going to see is I believe that we're going to go back to a lot more what I call distance selling, distance persuasion. The ability to get your point across to someone not face to face. I think that there's going to be fundamental changes in behavior that are long-term because of this. This is a generational event, and people do have short memories, but not that short, and I think this is pretty severe, and typically it's something like this that creates a paradigm shift. I believe that we're going to see a lot more selling by phone, persuasion over video, and I think people are going to become a lot more open to being called in their home and persuaded in their home right now. There's been this negative connotation to getting called at home because it's like my home and it's cold calling, and right now it's like, people say, well, my home is where I work. It's everything. If I want to buy things, if I want to find out, I have to be at home speaking to someone or simply online, doing it online. So I really believe that there's going to be a lot more emphasis placed on selling at a distance. And the beauty of that is the system that I created was actually designed precisely for that. I invented the straight line because I had people that were in an office in New York City that were calling around the country all over trying to convince people that we never saw before, never met before, to buy $1 million of a stock they never heard of, from a person they never heard of, from a broker they never heard of, and from a firm they never heard of. It was almost like insane, and the system was really designed for that, for distance selling. What does that mean? That means focusing on mastering the art of tonality, on using certain types of body language that are actual verbal body language, like the grunts and groans, the ahas, the ums, the yups. So like we see each other right now, but it's very different. It's very, very different. In other words, because I have to see, until they come up with a camera that's directly in your eyeball. So if I want to look into the camera, I'm looking at the top of my screen right now. So I don't see your reactions. This is not normal. Right now, it's not normal. Video communication right now, the way the cameras are built into microphones, does not work. It's not like a teleprompter where I'm looking directly into the lens and can look. So if I want to look at your eyes and gauge your expressions, not to mention there's a lag of some amount of time that doesn't allow me in real time to judge how you're reacting to what I'm saying in absolute real time. Even that 1/100th of a second lag for video makes a difference, right? But if I want to look you in the eye, I have to look up here. But if I want to judge your expression, I have to look here, and suddenly I'm not looking you in the eye. That's a problem for video-based persuasion. So you need to learn, how do you master that? What's the right thing to do? And also, how do you, in a two-dimensional, remember, there's a certain energy that gets transferred in person. There's an in-person energy field that allows you to essentially make up for losses in proper communication. So when you're in person, you can budget somewhat through this body language. That vanishes both on the phone and on video because the body language loses a great portion, because I'm here, you already lose my body language. I'm here, you can't see me. In other words, it's a very narrow field. It's just different, right? So distance selling is very much on tonalities, active listening skills, and you need to master these skill sets. And it's going to be very much the case with chiropractors, because a lot more things are going to happen. Visits will, I think you're going to find a lot more visits, of course, will occur in the office, but I believe more stuff is going to occur outside the office setting in every industry, following up, speaking to people, so forth.
Yeah, I think that, for everybody on here, most of them are all service providers. So their normal way of selling is that in-person, one-on-one type conversation. That's going to be, number one, they already have resistance to selling in the first place because that's not what they were taught. But number two, now to make this transition of what you're calling this distance selling is going to be huge. So outside of tonality, one of the things that I love that you teach in Straight Line System, and I said this on our podcast, is the 10 out of 10 concept. The 10 out of 10 on the service, the person, and the company. Can you just talk a little bit more about that? Because I think that would be valuable for people to start to conceptualize.
Well, I think that, again, and you're right. You said that, you're not taught to sell, and almost that maybe selling is bad, or that selling is somehow unethical, and my service is so valuable that, why should I have to sell it? That's just not right. Let me just start off by saying that one of the great lessons I've learned in that regard was from a book publisher, the man who published The Wolf of Wall Street, my first book. He was a legend in the publishing industry. His name was Erwin Applebaum. He looked like Alfred Hitchcock with with a beard, right? And he was like the last guy that you would think was a salesman type, but he's very soft-spoken, more like a college professor from Yale or something, with a cardigan sweater and a big belly, right? That was makeup, And Erwin Applebaum, we were talking about rolling out the book and this and that. And he goes, remember one thing, books do not get bought. They get sold to people. Even in the book business, the staid and traditional book business, because people don't buy books, they get sold to them. Whatever you do, whatever service you provide, you have to sell that service to someone. And nothing happens until something gets sold. Now, sometimes that happens by referral, and it's very easy. But if you don't think you're selling right now with everything that you say and everything you do, when look at it, just change the word sale for communication, goal-oriented communication. The goal here is that you have something of great value. You have something that can help people. You have to learn how to communicate that, to get that point across, get that value across to another human being in a way that makes them want to say, yeah, I get it. I'm willing to part with my hard-earned money and my time and inconvenience to get this service. That requires communication. You could be the greatest chiropractor in the world with the greatest hands and processes and healing capabilities, but unless you can convince someone of that, it doesn't matter. You have to be able to, someone else, just because it's inside your mind and just because it's truth, it's not that other person's truth until you can explain to them why. And the mistake that I see made very often with people that have no background in selling or communication is that they think of it in terms of, okay, well, I have to then sell my service, that my actual chiropractic or dental, whatever it might be, the actual service I provide has massive value, that the product itself makes sense. But in the real world of persuasion and business, if you were just to do that, it wouldn't be enough. Because let's say someone walks into your office and they're sort of 50-50, they don't know all the details. Then you explain to them how awesome your service is, all the reasons why it benefits them, why they should sign up for a package of adjustments or treatments, whatever it might be. And by the time you're done explaining everything, they're like, wow, that sounds really, really great. That sounds like it's a really valuable service. Wow, interesting. The question is, will they buy from you, yes or no? And you're probably mostly thinking, yeah, they probably will buy if I can convince them that. But the answer is not no and not yes. The answer is maybe. Maybe they'll buy, maybe they won't. Because here's the deal. What if in the process of you explaining why your service has so much value, in the process of building up their certainty about the service, let's say you did it in a way, you said something or did something that made them not trust you or not like you. So your methodology, the way you went about communicating your message, turned off the prospect, made them not trust you. Good luck trying to get that person to talk. You know what? If they love the process so much, they'll say, oh, wow. They're not going to say, sorry, doc, I don't trust you. They'll say, oh, wow, it sounds good. Let me think about it. And they'll run out and find another chiropractor that says, oh, yeah, I do that too. And they trust that person. We don't buy from people that we don't trust. And we typically don't buy from those that we don't generally like.
Right.
So if you imagine a continuum of certainty with a 1 on one side of the equation, a 10 on the other, the idea would be a 10 represents a state of they absolutely are certain. They love the product. Well, you also have to get into that same level of certainty, that 10 about you. They trust and connect with you. And behind that, in the case of a chiropractor, would be, and the company, the office itself, the staff, the office, the systems that you have in place, the company, the organization that stands behind you. Your goal, when you are influencing, when you're communicating, when you're closing someone on using your services, the idea is to get them very certain about the actual service. Number 2, very certain about yourself, the influencer. They're certain about that your service is awesome. They're certain that you're a person they can trust with and connect with. And 3, they're certain about the organization that stands behind you. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've had a doctor I liked, and the people that worked for the doctor did something to piss me off, and I never went back.
Yep.
Never went back. They were rude to me, put me on. Something happened and I lost. I never would go back because I did not like the organization that stood behind the doctor. So the idea is when you're influencing, when you're closing people on essentially signing up for your service or for more programs or maintaining, using you as their provider of choice, it's number 1, they must love your product. 2, they must trust you and the company. Those 3 elements. When I teach the system of the straight line system, so much of it is mindset, setting yourself up for success. So at times like these, you are bulletproof to negativity and negative self-talk, but also then there is the skill set, the actual communication strategies, how you line up these 3 core elements, these 3 10s, how you use tonality, certain body language, certain active listening skills to get your point across.
I understand. I don't know if, because I know you're a busy guy, but I understand that you have an offer for our viewers for the straight line system. Do you know what the offer is?
Well, I got the best offer. It's free.
Whoa!
I decided to give everybody on the call here free. So I have a very, very robust, it's a system I sell for many thousands of dollars to companies, individuals, and it comes with different modules. So I decided I'm giving everybody the introductory module here and also the first lesson of the first module. So this gives you a really good taste of the system. There's enough information there to act on. And then after you have that, I think there'll also be a link. It's free in the beginning, and if you like it, which I'm sure you will, and you want to use this time to educate yourself, okay, then you can actually, if you want to purchase it, we'll offer a big discount right now. But the first opening is free for everyone because I want everyone at least to become familiar with the principles of this. You'll get massive value from that. And then from there, it's your decision, what you want to do right now. I sincerely hope that everyone on this call uses this time to really get strong emotionally. Make sure that you're strong emotionally, and also that when this ends, and it will end, that you have gotten yourself into a position where you possess all the requisite skill sets to soar to success. So when this spring, when this rubber band snaps back, you're positioned in the right way, and you take maximum advantage of that. Bottom line.
We own the straight line system, and like I said, we've studied it for years and years. And it's like every time we go back to it, we learn more things that we can implement into our business. But one of the most powerful things is especially when you're passionate about something that you offer, it's so easy to talk too much and then allow the person on the other side take control of the sales conversation. And what we learned from...
Yep, sorry. You want to see something really cool?
Yes.
Yep.
I got this. This is an example. I'm going to share my screen here for a second. This is something I got yesterday out of nowhere. So I get these all the time. Hold on a second. Let me just make sure that so this, see this? No, that's the wrong one. Wait, nope, that's not it. Okay. 1 second. Good evening. Yeah, I got this email. This was really cool for people. This has nothing to do with chiropractic. I can get this bigger. Try to make this bigger. No, let's see. Get it? Hey. Can you guys read that? No, it's probably too small.
No, you haven't shared. You guys share it.
I don't think you've shared it yet.
1 second. Okay, 1 sec. How do I? What's that? Copy. Hold on a second. Let me just figure out. Let me get this right. I think you guys will really enjoy this. To see something. This is a story of a young kid here. And in times like this, I think these stories just go really. This is something I received. Hold on, let me get now. Okay, so Skype. Share my
right
screen.
Hand corner should show the share button.
Got it? Am I sharing?
Yes.
All right. So check this out. I just got this out of random. Some guy found my email address. Hold on. How do I get to this? Here it is. Hold on. Word. What's the word? So it says, "Good evening, Jordan. I hope you're safe and healthy. I reached out to your assistant, left some messages, but never heard back. Sorry about that. So I figured I'd give you the gist of the text. I want to thank you for your talks, your book, The Way of the Wolf, and most of all, your straight line training course. When I was 18 and graduated high school in 2017, my mother wasn't in my life. My father moved to Florida, so I was left in New York, homeless. 1 month later, my car blew up while I was starting a career as a financial advisor at Northwestern Mutual. It's an insurance salesman. I owe a lot to you in your talks, book, SL training, as they really inspired me and contributed to my becoming an incredible closer. I was the youngest advisor in all of Northwestern Mutual history, 160 Fortune 100 company. My first year, I placed 9th in the company's production. He needed some spelling work, the kid, but he's not an English major, obviously. My peer group finished, and last year he finished #1 in the whole nation. Just this past year, he wrote more insurance premium than the rest of the top 10 of the eastern region of the USA combined.
Wow.
Since I've been asked to speak at numerous events in regards to closings as well as financial podcasts, people in the country despite being 21 years old. This isn't to sound cavalier or brag to let you know the impact you've had on people. I hope you can take a look at this and watch my victory speech that was posted on YouTube. I attached below. I'd love to talk to you sometime, blah, blah. So I guess, I really, when you look at a kid like that, to me, it speaks. How do I unshare now? Let's see. End screen sharing, stop sharing. Here we go. I think that to me, I get those every day. It's not, I get 10 of those every single day. But there's something about that one when, you find someone who was just so young and inexperienced, and that person was able to use the power of the straight line and persuasion to really build himself an incredible life. He's still very young. And I think Matt spoke to him and he said he was so impressed with this kid. He sounded like he was decades older because he just really mastered the art of communication. I can't begin to tell you that as a chiropractor, that when you learn, yes, you own those skills as a chiropractor. You'll be really surprised at how much more effective you are as a chiropractor just by mastering the art of communication.
Right.
To get people there's so much of help and, not the placebo effect, but people having trust and confidence in you. It's why when we go to a doctor's office, we almost feel better. Just the second the doctor lays his hands on us, we feel better. And there's a reason for that. It's the sort of confidence and trust that you inspire that actually does make profound chemical changes in someone's brain and in their body. And I think that, I'm not saying the straight line is going to make you into a healer, but the point is, it certainly will allow you to position yourself in a way that maximizes the level of confidence your patients have in you and allows you to get your point across to them in a way that's not offensive, that's not salesy, that's not pushy, rather that shows that you care, that you're giving massive value, and that you have their best interest at heart. That's really what the system is about, and it works fabulously well in your industry. So I encourage all you, take advantage of the free opportunity here and check it out. And I think that once you see a little bit of it, you'll get it. You'll understand why it's a required course for any chiropractor.
Absolutely.
So I don't know if anybody on our team has posted that link up. We've got the link going. Perfect. Yeah, we've got the link in the chat. Make sure that you're jumping on this. We've got the link right there. It's popped up on your screen. I want to make sure that you're jumping on this. I know what the discount, Lacey knows what the discount is. Jordan knows what the discount is on the bag. It's not a small discount, a 15% discount. It's a very generous discount. And, that's just the way that Jordan rolls. I know that he's really looking out for all of our best interests, and he's putting into practice what he just told us, right? You can't come on and scam people and then make an offer and expect them to take it. And so I'm also letting you know, with our experience having been around him, this is a super amazing, generous offer. Starts out free so you can check it out, and then they're going to make the rest of the program at a ridiculous discount. Frankly, he's basically giving it away to you. But also, I think you have to show some initiative. You have to show that you're serious. You can't just say, hey, Jordan, make me a multi-millionaire. One of the things that I've noticed too, Jordan, that I so admire about, as Lacey said, we jumped into the straight line system when it came in the box, in that black box, and we had it shipped to our house and consumed the DVDs and the CDs and listened to it. But one of the things that I think has been amazing is the transition that you've been able to make from selling on the phone and mastering that, but now selling over the internet through copy, through websites, through converting pages, all of that. Is that also just the straight line system being applied in different medium?
It's in there. You're talking about the days when you used to ship people boxes. Now the entire system is instant access online. And it's also interactive, and it includes all the marketing. There's also all these little, marketing is really interesting. Marketing is really it's another form of selling. And it's essentially, when you're a marketer, you're basically selling, but you're handling both sides of the conversation. So you have to anticipate what people are thinking, and then you have to talk to that. And that's why when you structure landing pages and all your brochures and sales letters, you have to be thinking. It's very much, in fact, the world's #1 copywriter for email spent 7 days training with me. Went to one of my boot camps early on it was a 6-day boot camp. A guy named Joel Marion, top copywriter out there right now, massive email campaigns. And we were so shocked that the strategy of the straight line almost overlaid directly to what he was already doing with his own copywriting for creating websites, emails, and by using the straight line, he was able to take it up another level. And I think since then he literally is the #1 email copywriter in the world. Very wealthy guy.
Awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, I got to roll. I got another meeting to go to. But listen, my pleasure to be here. Everyone check it out. It's free again, the first module, the first lesson, and then also the introduction. So I think you should really take advantage of it. And then I will see you guys at some point when we the world starts turning again here. I will see you all in person at your next event. All right?
Perfect.
Sounds great. Thank you, Jordan.
It's been a pleasure. Bye-bye.